Hey guys, thanks for joining me for another Dokkan Battle video, and today we're going to take a look at this Chun Max Power from the World Tournament. He just got an Awakening, so this is from the Dragon Ball banner again. So I was lucky enough to just get a copy of this guy, so I've got him at 55%. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at him in this video here. So let's go ahead and look at his passive. So he is super attack effect is greatly raises attack for 1 turn, causes supreme damage, and greatly lowers defense. His passive, key +1 up to 3, and attack and defense +20 up to 80 at the start of each turn. So he does have a little bit of buildup. So we're going to make sure that we have him for at least 4 turns. Attack and defense +150 when performing a super attack. Kamehameha category allies key 3 and attack +30. Because he's a Kamehameha support, I think this guy actually has some value. His stats are terrible. You can see I'm under 10,000 attack here. Now this is 55% and only 5,000 defense. So his stats are terrible. He gets a lot of his attack and defense on super. So like his start of turn defense is going to look pretty god awful, especially turn 1. But he does build up a little bit and he gets a ton on super, right? So let's take a look here. I'm going to run him on the Buu Saga Battle of Wits team. My plan is to link him up with a normal Chun, which that obviously makes the most sense, right? They're going to share 6 links together. This Chun, by the way, is not a great unit. He definitely needs an EZA or something. Crazy thing is I'm pretty sure this guy is the best World Tournament lead in the game, and he's only 70%. So World Tournament kind of needs a buff at some point. They're kind of like one of the meme teams of all of Dokkan, right? And then, yeah, and basically his passive is really simple. He's just attack and defense 70, and then he can survive a KO attack. So, not very good. So we're not going to see good numbers out of that Chun there. But the whole idea is I'm just using him as a link partner to bring the best out of our physical Chun, who is our showcase unit here. Then I'm just going to have the Goku and Vegeta on rotation with another one, and then I'm just going to run a bunch of support floating around. So we've got the High School Gohan, we got the Great Saiyaman from the World Tournament Awakening, and then we've got Toa, which why would you not run Toa? I use Toa all the time. By the way, Dragon Ball Heroes coming very soon. You could argue that Dragon Ball Heroes, you know, like that. I've heard people say, like, why would I summon on Heroes? I never see people using the units from last year. I'll tell you this, there were a lot of units that were kind of duds that you don't see very often. Like, I never run that, like, Demon God Dabura and, like, units like that, right? I never run Demigra and stuff like that. But I'll tell you this, that crossover team, I ran them a lot, and I still run them once in a while. They're a lot of fun. Those Super Saiyan 4s are fantastic. But if there's one gem you can say out of all of it, it's that Int Toa. That Int Toa is just used everywhere. Like, you can't value enough, like, really good support units like that Toa. And the fact that she has an all-type support is really important. Because I'll do a lot of team builds and I'm looking for my support units, right? And it's like, oh, well, they only support Buu Saga, and, you know, and they only support Youth, and they only support this. And sometimes it can limit you a little bit, because you might have, like, one rotation they'll support, but then they won't support the other. But when you have an all types, or like an all, like, you just support everyone, that is so valuable, and her support passive is very good, right? So here we go. Toa turn 1 with double Chun here. Wait, do we have... Yeah, so that's the only thing we're missing is Kamehameha, right? So if one of my High School Gohan or my Great Saiyaman, if they have Kamehameha, we might be able to get that active. We'll see. So turn 1, 37k defense. I told you, his start of turn defense is not good. He does get 150% on super. Now, the other thing to keep in mind, too, is when you're getting stats on super, they're more greatly affected by support units. So, Chun is going to look a lot better with a support unit than without one. So, we're going to try to keep him supported the whole way here. This is going to hurt really bad, by the way. Really bad. Yeah, 161k. And there's a 1.8 mil attack stat, which... when you think of this Chun, if you think of him as a support unit on the Kamehameha team, 1.6 is solid. Like, I'll take, you know, once again, 1.5 mil or higher, I'll take that from a support unit any day of the week. The only bad part about the Chun in terms of a support unit is he does not give defense. So to only give 3 key and attack 30%, You're hoping to get something a little bit more out of him, maybe in terms of attack or something like that. But remember, he does have a stacking passive, so we got to get him out 4 times. So I kind of want to see what this guy's going to look like fully stacked up, right? All right, so we're going to try to slowly heal ourselves back up here. My Vegito's already... Oh, you know what? I should have transformed one. What am I thinking? All right, if I'm still low enough, I'll transform one of them on next turn. Because then at least they'll get some links, right, on rotation together if I just transform one of them. Yeah, that would have been smart of me, right, to just transform one of those. I mean, it's not like we're having any trouble here, and we're mainly just showcasing Jackie Chun anyways. All right. So let's see. Does this guy have Kamehameha? He does not. So we're not going to gain any links. So we're going to go in slot 1. Okay, 41k defense starter turn. So we saw a bump there. That's because he's getting an extra 20% every turn he shows up. So I think this is turn 2. This is his second. So he should be at 40 out of 80% there. So let's go ahead and grab a bunch of orbs here. The int, Jackie Chun, by the way, 76k. Nothing too crazy there. Alright, so we're going to do that. And we're going to do that. Alright, let's see what we get here for our next attack stat. Alright, now we're over 2 mil. So when that passive is stacking up, like, he's gonna get, I think, to a decent number by the end here. We'll see. I think we need to get him out 2 more times to get his max passive. We'll probably go 3 more turns just to make sure I didn't miss it. Oh, please don't kill us. Okay. Oh yeah, we had type advantage. Thank goodness. These Jackie Chun units are not defensive, right? Like, we actually have to kind of watch out here. This isn't like the Hybrid Saiyan, you know, Gohan showcases where I can just kind of like look away from my phone and just auto battle this thing. I got to be careful when I got these weak defensive units in here. This will give us a nice little heal up here. So I'll actually talk about this. There's been a lot of debate over like whose transformation condition is better, this Vegito or the Tech Gojitas. I can actually see arguments for both. I think, like, in general, this, because the thing with the Gogeta is, with Vegito, you have to be under a certain threshold, and then he heals you, which to me, that alone just makes more sense. Like, you want to get healed when you're lower on health. So I think Vegito has the advantage there, right? Gogetas, you get healed and transformed if you are above a certain threshold, which you're getting the heal when you're feeling a little bit better on health and you maybe don't need it as much. So I would say on that point, I would say Vegito's transformation is better. However, I also see it like with Gogeta, I have more control because I just have to keep my health high, and I can always do that, whether it's with items or how I set up my rotations or whatever, right? All right, and we've got a super attack here, and that comes from Vegito's 10-turn ability. Okay, so what do I do here? Do I just eat it? I think I'm actually going to have to use an item here, guys. We can't eat this. Like, this, we'll do Icarus at least. This would be I'm going to go ahead and put the int one in front because he's actually going to defend better because he has a better starter turn defense. Alright, so this should be 3/4 of the way there. I'll continue my thought on Gogeta and Vegito here in just a second. So we'll do that. We'll do that. We should see a progressively higher attack stat here as we go through. With Icarus, we're going to be fine here, but without it, man, we would have been in trouble. Yeah, even 69k with it. And then that fat 700k attack stat from this Jackie Chun. Alright, and then 2.2, okay. It's solid, it's solid. And then 2.4 on the additional, very nice. Yeah, so back to the Gogeta situation. The one thing I do like about Tech Gogeta is I do like that they didn't give them both the same condition. I think having, like, just in general, having one of them transform when you're above a threshold and having one transform below, I think as a rotation, is very good. So to me, I like Gogeta's transformation skill, not like on his own, but I like it in conjunction with this STR Vegito, and I like it in conjunction with the physical year 3 Gogeta. So what I like about it is if you're running them on rotation together, right, and you're below that HP threshold, what's going to happen is Strength Vegito is going to transform. He's going to heal you, and he's going to heal you into the range where Gogeta can then transform. So you can transform both in the same turn, right? So, like, let's look at these units with the year 3 units, right? Well, here, we'll get that one second, but I'm going to continue my thought on that. Because I think there's a very important point to be made about them that I think at a certain point, people are going to like Gogeta's better, and I'll explain why. Okay. So we're up to 51k defense. I think we're fully built up here now. And remember, he does get 150% more on super, so his defense will be respectable after supering, but before, he's like a sitting duck, basically, right? I think he's fully built up. We'll go one more turn just to make sure, and then we'll call the video there, right? So let's go ahead and see what we get for an attack stat here. Because we have the int type advantage here, I don't think we need to use an item. Toa, I think, will be fine. All right, what do we got for an attack stat here? 2.4. Okay, so if this is fully built up, it's looking like about 2.5 is kind of like his ceiling here. Now, this is 55%, by the way, right? So we can get a lot better than that. So, all right, well, we'll get one more turn and check that out. But my point with the Gogeta potentially being better at one point. So, we all know another good rotation is like the STR Vegito on rotation with the int Vegito, the year 3 one, right? And when they're transformed, they link fantastic together. The hard part is they both have a similar transformation condition where you have to be under a certain health, and then what's going to happen is int Vegito is going to auto transform. You don't get a choice with that, right? So we're going to get that auto transform there, and then you have to wait like a whole nother round, and you have to get under the threshold again for STR Vegito to transform, and then you finally have the rotation together. So the time that I think people are going to appreciate Tech Gogeta's transformation skill a little bit more is when the year 3 LRs get their EZA, which I think could be as soon as the 7-year anniversary. I actually think there's a really good chance, if they fit the theme of that anniversary, that they'll EZA during that anniversary. And the rotation of Tech Gogeta with the physical year 3 Gogeta is going to be ridiculous, because it's going to work similar where you're below the threshold. After 5 turns, physical Gogeta will transform. He's going to heal you into the condition for Tech Gogeta, and you can transform Tech Gogeta on the same turn, and they're probably going to be darn near perfect linking partners. I haven't actually looked at it, but I'm going to guess that they're probably perfect linking partners for each other, and that's going to be like a really busted rotation after the year 3 gets his EZA. I think it's going to be absolutely insane, right? All right, so back to Jackie Chun here. We're going to call this the last turn. Yep, he's up to 51k defense. This is a good turn to end on. So he is fully built up. We have support. A great turn to end on because we can see what he's going to tank here from a super attack after he supers and gets that 150% defense buff. We're going to see if he can hold out at all in this situation, and we're going to make this the last turn. He's even going to take damage from normals because before he attacks, he's not a slot 1 unit. Like, you just can't run him in slot 1. And so, yeah, there's his peak there, 2.44. That's pretty much what we're at. So, in general, like, the unit contradicts himself a little bit because I see him more as a floating support unit than an on-rotation unit. And when he has those start of turn passive increases, you're going to build that up really, really slow in slot 3 because he's not appearing as often. So unless you're running like a ridiculously long event with the Kamehameha team, you're not really going to ever see this guy fully built up, right? So I would say he's a solid unit though. It's nice to have a Kamehameha support option. So in that role, I do like him. I do not like him as an on-rotation option because even to get him up to 2.4 mil, 2.4 mil, it doesn't cut it for like an attacking unit rotation, and we have to link him up with an absolutely terrible unit that you don't want to run, right? So I think as a floating support, he gets a pass because he's going to be like, you know, in that 1.2 to 1.5 mil attack range, which I think is fine for a support unit. And as a support unit, he's always going to get to super before he attacks. So he's going to be able to defend at least normals at an adequate level. So anyways, guys, I think this Jackie Chun is a very solid support unit, but really nothing more than that. Let me know what you think of him. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you all on the next one.